Hi guys, here today with my friend here, Mason, and we are going to be making Play-Doh out of Jello. So I'm going to tilt this down so you are able to see exactly what we're doing here. So first we're going to need 1 cup of flour. So we're going to take a cup, a measuring cup here. Mason's going to grab it and we have a big thing of Jello, so we're going to be using double the recipe I have. So
2 cups.
If you're using a small box of Jello that is smaller than this size here, then you're going to just do 1 cup. But in this case here, we got the big guy, so we're going to double the recipe. So Mason's scooping his 2 cups of just all-purpose flour into the bowl. Then we are going to be using salt.
Wait, 1 cup?
1 cup. Again, if you're using the small box, which I believe would be 3 ounces of Jello, you're going to be using half of what we're doing. But we have this, and this is a
salt.
6 ounce. So Mason's stirring that up just a little bit. We're adding the dry ingredients first here, guys, into 1 bowl. So here's our package of Jello, you'll see. So Mason's gonna add that whole entire package into there, to this bowl. What color do you think it's gonna turn? Well, yeah, we see it. It's red. It's red. R-E-D. Red to me. And it smells wonderful because this is a strawberry Jello. So if you're looking for a recipe like this, you're gonna wanna Google Jello Play-Doh recipe. And there's no cooking involved here. All it asks and calls for is some warm water, but you don't have to have it boiling hot. So it's definitely safe for young kids, adults, and whoever else would enjoy to make it. So next, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of cream of tartar.
So where's the tablespoon? Wait, so we just do 1 of these?
So we don't have very much left, so Mason's just gonna go right ahead, but you're gonna wanna use a tablespoon to measure it out. So you'll use 2 tablespoons in a regular recipe, 4 for the bigger box. So Mason's just gonna pour what we have left because there's not that much in. Just pour it right into the mixture, Mace. Then it calls for 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. Again, we're doubling it, so we have measured here 4 tablespoons of cooking oil. So he's just gonna pour this in as well. And a small 3 ounce thing of Jello calls for 1 cup of warm water. We're gonna double it to 2 cups, and we've already warmed this. And it's just from the regular faucet. We didn't heat it in the microwave or anything like that. So now that we've added our flour, our salt, our cream of tartar, 2 tablespoons or 4 of vegetable oil, warm water, and our Jello, we're gonna combine the ingredients. Knead until cool enough to touch, which ours is. It's just warm water. But if you make it a little bit hotter than that, make sure that it's safe to touch. Just give it a little test with just 1 finger to make sure. So you're gonna just knead until you're able to enjoy your Jello dough. So it's gonna take a couple of minutes, probably 1 to 2, to completely stir and mix this ingredient so that it's completely able to be used. Right now, it's looking a little bit soft. We're gonna keep mixing it and see what we can come up with. But if it continues to be this runny, we can up our flour. We've never made this actual recipe before. We've made many homemade Play-Dohs, but it's okay to have to kind of keep adding things to get the right exact consistency you're looking for. So we'll just go ahead, because I can tell that it's just really too runny at this point. I'm gonna add a cup. So my advice to you would be to go easy on the water, maybe add a half a cup or even 1/3 of a cup at a time so that you can keep stirring it, and if it's not really mixing well, you can always add a little bit more. The problem with adding too much, and that's maybe what we've done, is we're gonna have to end up wasting a lot of ingredients. So let Miss Ashley give it a good stir here so I'm able to see, but it's still super runny. So you never know. This could be kind of one of those recipe fails. We may have to come back to this another time. But I'm gonna have Mason just stir a little bit longer. Go ahead, Mason. You stir. And I'm gonna add just a tiny bit more of flour, see if we can get it. It's kind of sad when a recipe doesn't work for you. But I also don't want to be wasteful of our ingredients. So if I can add about a cup more, then we'll see what happens. But if not, this may be a recipe fail. It's always trial and error, guys, so we'll have to just see. It's a new recipe. Maybe this is one that you don't want to make at home. So there's our 1 more cup. Seems like we may have something able to kind of get a little doughier for us, but it's gonna take a bit of flour to get this into the right consistency. So please definitely listen when I say a little bit of water at a time, because you don't want to end up having that where you're having to put a ton of ingredients in. So as you can see, it's definitely getting doughier, but I don't know if it's gonna be quite enough to get us that right consistency. So another pointer maybe that I could give you would be to use the 3 ounce, because then you're gonna be using a little bit less of all these ingredients, so we're not being wasteful. But I definitely think at this point, it's getting thicker now. Can I see, Mace? See what we can... I'm not really sure what we're missing exactly, but it's definitely... Mason's thinking a little bit more flour, so we definitely can give that a try real fast.
The flour seems to be helping it. Now it's looking pretty.
But you definitely can't play with Play-Doh that's sticky, so we used way, way, way too much water this time.
Okay, yeah, that's true too.
So I think now we're at about 4 cups of flour, which is a little bit too much flour that I'm willing to waste typically to make Play-Doh. My average recipes usually call for 2 cups at the most. So I don't think that this is a bad recipe. I just think that we were off on the measurements. But you just gotta try your best every day. That's all you can do, guys. So let's see what we have, and I'm sorry this is a little bit longer of a video than typical with us, but I mean, you can see that it definitely is a more thick consistency. I mean, and always when you're playing with Play-Doh, it's gonna dry your hands out after handling it, so just be careful and cautious of that, because you have a lot of salt involved in Play-Doh making. But this is definitely a little bit more stickier than Miss Ashley would care for.
Probably.
And definitely a messy project. So for now, I think this is a fun Friday fail. But we're gonna keep trying and see what we come up with. If we come up with something a little bit easier to use, because would be fun but definitely messy, then we'll get back to you on that. But it smells good and it's definitely fun, but the measurements were off. So if you have any tips, let us know. But for now, I'd say hold off on this recipe, guys. Have a good day and enjoy your Friday, though. Mwah, 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 mwah.